Did you know that not all stress is created equal? If you didn't know that, that's okay. That's why we're going to talk about it today. In case we haven't met yet, I'm Diana with Serenity Links Coaching. This is what I look like in real life. But let's be honest, the animated version of me is more fun to watch, so that's what we're going with. I want to start off today by talking about normal stress. This is the kind of stress that most people experience in their everyday lives. It includes things like deadlines, relationship drama, job performance, trying to get anywhere in rush hour traffic, and all the millions of things we do every day to keep all the balls in the air and all of the plates spinning. Normal stress can even include really big stressors like death of a loved one, natural disasters, car accidents, and unexpected illness or injury. We call this normal stress because every person on the planet experiences it to some degree. One of the amazing things about the human body is that it's hardwired for survival. Regardless of the cause of stress, we all have a built-in stress management system that is designed to help us survive whatever we're facing, and it kicks in and it does its thing without any conscious effort on our part. The stress response system works something like this. First, we have an event, or something that happens to activate the system and start the process. It could be a situation, a thought, a memory, an emotion, or even a sensation. Once the system is activated, it's designed to detect threat. It doesn't matter at this point whether the threat is real or only perceived. Because the body is hardwired to survive, it automatically goes into defense mode and both acts and reacts before the brain kicks in and figures out the difference. Because a threat has been detected, a response from the sympathetic nervous system is triggered. It immediately turns on the fight, flight, or freeze response and quickly releases hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol to fuel the system and protect the body during the crisis. It does this regardless of where the threat came from. It could be actual danger, a near miss, a startle response, memory of a past trauma, or any other kind of stress. It isn't until after this response has been triggered that the brain kicks in and determines the actual nature of the threat and decides how to proceed. Once the threat is passed, the resolution process begins. The body and mind begin to shake off the nervous energy, and all the body systems start to resume normal functioning. Once everything is back as it should be, we're then able to return to a neutral state of calm with little or no long-term effects or trauma imprint. It's in this zone that one's sense of safety is reestablished and physical, mental, and emotional health flourish. This is what normal stress would look like on a graph chart. The blue area represents the natural state of calm. The yellow area is the danger zone in which stress affects physical, mental, and emotional health. The red lines are the different stressful events one might experience. Some are little, some are big, some have space between them, and some don't. For many watching this video, that state of calm might feel like a dream. We live in a fast-paced, noisy world. Even just keeping up with all the day-to-day things can feel overwhelming. And that brings us to the next type of stress, burnout. By definition, burnout is physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion due to overwork or prolonged stress. It's characterized by feelings of depletion, frustration, exhaustion, cynicism, apathy, and a reduced sense of personal accomplishment or satisfaction. This is what burnout stress looks like. It happens when we spend too much time in high-stress situations without enough recovery time between episodes. And we end up in the intensity danger zone, where stress starts to have some very real and very negative physical and mental impact. Though it's not as common as ordinary stress, most people know at least something about burnout. And they know it because they've lived it personally and experienced it to some degree at some point in their life. They also think they know what to do about it. Take a break. Sit on the beach for a week. You'll be good as new. And truthfully, they're not wrong. It's a great strategy for a lot of people and can do wonders for the body, mind, and soul. Except it doesn't work for everyone. For those in chronic stress situations, it's a different story. Chronic stress is frequent or repeated stress that often approaches the burnout zone but lasts for a long period of time. It's very common in caregiving situations where one person is doing most or all of the things. It's a sneaky kind of stress too. It often starts out when stress levels are low, but it has a cumulative effect. Because there is little opportunity for even short breaks or resolve, all the things stack up on top of each other. And it's like building a brick wall, where each new piece adds a bit more weight to the system. Often without realizing it, we end up in the danger zone, with no easy way to get out of it. This is when our own self-care starts to take a nosedive, and the effects of stress and our ability to cope become visible to the outside world. It's also when we start getting all kinds of comments about needing to take a break or taking better care of ourselves, but yet there's no offers for help so that you can actually do that. The last type of stress we're going to talk about is traumatic stress. This type of stress is exceptionally problematic and is probably also the most important to understand. Why? Because this stuff can literally kill you. And it's also where a lot of people I work with end up falling on the spectrum. A quick and easy definition of traumatic stress is that it equals burnout plus chronic stress plus trauma. By definition, trauma is psychological and emotional injury caused by deeply disturbing events that are outside the range of normal experience. Something interesting to note here is that trauma is not the event itself. It's what happens on the inside as a result of the things we experience on the outside. It is an internal and often invisible wound caused by stuff that is bigger, stronger, and more terrifying than we have the ability to process, and also lack the opportunity or the support we needed in order to resolve it. When trauma is added to situations where chronic stress already exists, it ends up becoming our normal way of living. We get so used to getting up and putting one foot in front of the other that most of the time we don't even realize how stressed out or exhausted we really are because we've adapted to this way of living. Here's the problem with that. The human body wasn't designed to handle this level of intensity. In reality, our stress levels are way above the danger zone and usually off the charts. We end up in a constant state of fight, flight, or freeze with little to no break before the next thing happens. Our rational thinking and emotional regulation abilities shut down, and it's where things like PTSD, compassion fatigue, and caregiver burnout set in. It's also where all those stress-related illnesses that many of us have heard about for years become a permanent reality. The risk factors for things like depression, diabetes, obesity, heart attack, and stroke increase exponentially and are very difficult to reverse. So while we've been busy surviving our life, all of this stuff is slowly, or maybe not so slowly, poisoning us. This is also the point at which families and relationships start to crumble, which usually only adds even more trauma and stress to the mix. We've covered 4 different types of stress: normal stress, burnout, chronic stress, and traumatic stress. I'll be talking more about what to do about these things in future videos, so do be sure to subscribe to my channel to get those updates. For now, though, it's important to understand how traumatic stress differs from normal stress and burnout. That's all I've got for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!